Guys, welcome everybody to the Chow Rules Show. This is used to be a cup of coffee with Chow Rules, but I've done changed my plans up since I started doing bachata and on Fridays nights. And I missed last week. I don't even remember why. What happened? I just stuff gets so busy. Happy Friday to you, Chilliwack, British Columbia. Oh yeah, Norman. I've seen you in some of my videos and messages and stuff. How you doing? Welcome. Thanks for joining. I'm glad you can make it. So, been a beautiful, busy time. Let's see what's happened since I missed a week. So a couple interesting things happened. My daughter went to iFly. I posted a video. I don't like posting any content about my kids. Gingerbread lady, thanks for the heart and butterfly. Unless that's part of your name, I don't know. So my daughter, she's 5, and she did the iFly. She hopped right in there, and I basically, I had done it before, but it basically felt like a robbery because you're paying like $45 a minute just to get in that freaking tube. Like it's expensive, and it was such a robbery that I was like, I'm just gonna jump out of plane. So I ended up jumping out of plane, and I posted that on my stories as well. Norman Longstaff, UCC is the Bill of Exchange Act. I would say that the Bill of Exchange Act is codified in some places. UCC could be one of them. I don't know if that's what I would sum up the UCC as. It's basically a way to govern commercial activities amongst international types of entities. That's basically what the UCC code is. And again, it is copywritten, and I was listening to some audio files. Judges are so tricky. I have a great video that I'm working on. Y'all are gonna love it. I'm kind of hesitant to release it because it is some powerful knowledge, and it can hurt people if they're not careful. So I put a nice little disclaimer on there, and I'm basically trying to make sure that everybody knows that be very, very careful if you're going to attempt to do anything, because you have to be very well learned and versed. But anyway. My daughter, she hops right in the tube, and she's 5, and they were just throwing her around like she was a rag doll. And when I originally went the first 2 times for iFly, it felt like a robbery. It's so quick. It's like after a minute, you're so disoriented and whatever, and it's over, and it's like, all right, yeah, here's your certificate. And I'm like, I didn't do nothing. I just felt like a turd floating in a tub. Well, I got 4 minutes in, and I started figuring it out, and I was zooming around, flying around stuff, and it's actually fun at that point once you get over the hump of understanding the dynamics of the wind velocity and your body and how to like basically hover, and you can control your body up and down, around, left and right, and little subtle movements mean a lot in there. So when you're inside of that tunnel, you just move your hand a little bit, and you can just start turning like crazy. And so it's really, really cool. I've always been somewhat athletic and a very fast learner. Speaking of fast learner, working on this bachata thing, like my grandfather, I hope you can hear me. I know he wanted me to learn how to dance. He was trying to get me to do ballroom dancing, and ballroom dancing just ain't popping off. I don't know nobody that's got ballroom dancing running around anywhere out there. I mean, I'm not saying it ain't happening anymore, but, But anyway, started learning bachata. And it's so weird. Like when I close my eyes, it's so easy to remember the rhythm and flowing of the feet and all that stuff. As soon as I open my eyes, it's just like train wreck. But what was cool is I went to a social for the first time. And a social is where everybody comes and like gathers around, and they kind of just start dancing and all this stuff. And I was watching basically people, guys. So guys are supposed to be, I say guys, they're supposed to be a leader and a follower. And I kind of love that dynamic because it kind of puts things back like the way they were before there was 685,000 different genders and stuff and all this stuff. So, it's just kind of like a masculine dominant leader, female follower. And I'm not saying there's, that's how it has to be, but it's just a beautiful dynamic where I was watching these women. Okay, I had never been to any social. I've never, I've seen like salsa, glanced at it before on TV or something, but I didn't care about it. But I was actually at this place. They were doing bachata, merengue, and something else. And anyway, watching these leaders out here on the dance floor and just like whipping these women around like they were, I'm telling you, these girls were they were in awe. They were like, they loved being kind of dominated and just whipped around on the dance floor. This one girl, it was so funny. I was watching her. She was like, oh, it was so wild. But that's the way, me trying to learn, it's tough being a leader when you don't know how to lead. When you're trying to learn something new, it's kind of tough in that type of environment where you have a leader and a follower. So that was fun. And then I went from there to reggaeton. And reggaeton, oh my gosh, this is a much younger crowd. And this music, oh my gosh, the music was so loud in there. It was a lot of fun though. A lot of people were dancing, a lot of fast-paced stuff, and but daggone, when I got out, I was in there for maybe half an hour. When I got out of there, my freaking ears, I felt like I had like an STD in my ears because of how loud that music was up in there. Like, it was just bumping, screaming. And daggone, these teens are in there just going crazy. It was just, it was a lot of fun though. A lot of quick-paced movements and stuff like that. So, guys, feel free to ask any and all questions. This time is set aside for y'all. I set an hour aside each week, the best that I can. I missed last week, but I set an hour aside so I can come out here and help guide everybody in the different lights that we're all operating in. If you have any issues or questions or want consultations or guidance, like, this is what this is for. It's kind of a free-for-all. You got to ask any and all questions, and I do the best of my ability to help. A lot of people call me off my website. They DM me. They email me. I do consultations on my videos and also in DMs all the time. And feel free, if you don't want to post a question in here, you can always reach me in those different methods. So I got an interesting video, like I said, in the works. I think y'all are gonna love it. I started the intro and a little bit of it, and it's the first time I've tried to use green screen for a video. I'm using it right now with this background thing, but I've never used it for posting a video. So this is the first time I'm going to be doing that as well. So and it took a lot of dialogue planning, and so that's why I missed a week of doing a video and I missed a week of doing a live. So it's been like I was incognito, but I have been putting in work. Matter of fact, I put out of the 1,300 videos that I've saved from TikTok, I'm down to 900 that I have to post. So I've been putting in work. So there's a lot of new folders on my website. There's a lot of new content and information that you can find on there if you take the time to browse around for the auxiliary information. This live, once it starts getting heated up, you'll see there's a lot of interactions going back and forth. But this live will be posted on my YouTube. I have put the audio on my Telegram group. I let everybody know when I'm going live in my Telegram group. Usually give about 15-20 minute heads up. And you can feel free to browse my website. All my content's free. My consultation and help is free. All my social medias are linked on my website. My website is linked on my profile page of TikTok. It has auxiliary information to help you on any of your paths should you want to learn about nature, spirit, or commerce the way that we were supposed to be taught. But the controllers of the systems at play decided that it's not good information for us to have. They want to keep us in boxes and stuff like that, and not very well learned. But that's kind of the stuff, the uphill battle that I got going on, amongst sometimes being shadow banned and this, that, and the other. But I've created playlists to help re-educate everybody also. If you take time to, go through that, it'll definitely open your eyes and change your life, because it is a lot of groundbreaking information and knowledge that I've put down over the last couple years, a year and a half or so on TikTok. I want to say it's been almost 2 years. I got to go back and look. But I've been doing this for a while now. A lot of people have been on social media like crazy. I was very hesitant in the early stages. Like, I didn't like Facebook. I really didn't want to post anything on there. I didn't even want to put my face. Because what ends up happening is people get so caught up in the nuances of visual. Like, I originally wanted to post videos and not even put my face on them. I just wanted to have my voice and then have people just kind of guessing who, what I look like or whatever, and having no clue, because people get so caught up in the physical realm and the physical way things are and the way things look that it can deter people. I look at a lot of people that try to talk about division, different races and stuff like that. And there is, but the higher form is that we're all in this together. We're all basically tied together in a spiritual body of unity, and through all the different lights, the natural light, the spiritual light, and the commercial light. And it's basically the best way to try to come from a piece of unity and love and oneness instead of always talking about division. Our whole life, we're continuously taught about division, and it can be very confusing to try to break free from that. Even my teacher in class today in bachata, he had to relearn his foundation of the basics. So there's like this basic thing where you go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it's kind of like a pendulum swinging. And he had been dancing for 4 years, and then he basically learned suddenly that his foundation wasn't even right. And it's so hard to undo the foundation, and it bolsters true across all different types of platforms. For instance, it is much easier to deceive someone than it is to convince them that they have been deceived. And it takes a lot of time and effort sometimes to wake people up because they get very complacent. And it's like everybody else is doing it, so why should I? Well, I can tell you, for one, I have, for the last daggone I want to say almost my whole life, I have not been a real big follower of what everybody else is doing. For instance, I don't really practice holidays anymore. I used to, but when I went and got locked up for 3 years, I basically started reevaluating my life and making all kinds of changes. And one of them was I stopped practicing holidays. And it's not that I don't love family, it's that I don't like what the gathering is based upon. It's not that we're not there because we're family. We're there because it's Christmas. We're there because it's Thanksgiving. And then half the people in there don't even want to, could care less if you got stabbed in your back, or would never visit you, write you, talk to you, call you. They see you once a year, and because they have to, because it's Thanksgiving. And it's like, you're not family to me. If that's the only time I see you, the only time we have to interact, the only care that you give, then, to me, you're not really family. Of course, by blood you are, but in another sense, the same thing with Christmas. It's like, I see people are used to, when I practiced it, there was people that I would see once a year. Now, I'm not talking about people that have to fly from somewhere. I'm talking about people that live down the street. I'm talking about people that live around the corner. I have no interactions or anything to do with them for 364 days out of the year. And then on Christmas, all of a sudden, you're supposed to be my family member. You're supposed to smile and act like you care about me. It's just such a weird, strange thing. And then the whole basis of it is nuts. Somebody sent me a video on how Coca-Cola was basically the promoter of Santa Claus, because it was a big corporate basically driving factor to try to figure out how to get people to drink Coca-Cola during winter seasons. So they used St. Claus because Coca-Cola was considered a summer, fall type of drink. And this is back when they put cocaine in it, So these huge, this is a multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar corporation. So they had some of the biggest thinkers in the world coming together trying to figure out how to push this propaganda of commerce, because that's basically what a corporation cares about. It's the ultimate bottom dollar, not your health. They don't care about you, the individual. They care about sales. As long as you, the individual, is buying, that's all they care about. They don't care if it's healthy for you, clean, good for you, none of that stuff. They just care about you spending that money. And we all get deceived through the continuation of propaganda that gets pushed by these big megala corporations that know simple things. Like, for instance, McDonald's knows that bright yellow and red colors makes you feel uneasy. So you'll sit in there and you'll just want to eat and then leave. They make the seats real hard. They don't want you to have a real comfy seat because they want you to eat and get out. Like, that's it. Like, next sheep, come on through. Sorry, yeah, I seen you ask or say a couple things. Let me go back on these questions. Yeah, I feel the same way about holidays. Yeah, it's if you look up, the history about all of them, they're pretty twisted. Easter, like, the only one that I really celebrate and is kind of funny is Independence Day, because I know what Independence Day really stands about. And the funny thing is, July 4th is not when independence happened. It's when the U.S. declared it, but that wasn't when they actually gained their independence. It wasn't until the king actually acknowledged them that they could have independence, because they were still indentured servants owing in debt that were trying to basically succeed from the king and the crown, who paid for everything, and then just basically say, I ain't got to pay you no more. I don't like your taxes, owing in massive amounts of debt. And you can't do that as an indentured trustee. You have to pay. You can't secede from a nation state while owing in debt. So next, my family doesn't even know me. I've been a distant one since a child. Yeah, I'm the same way, and that's actually one of the signs that you are a child of light, is that a lot of people feel uneasy around you because your ways and your come from are so different than the world, and you're basically, a lot of times it's a solitary path. And I'm alone a lot of times, even though I have kids and I have an ex and I have, a girl and all this stuff. A lot of times I am alone, and I'm doing a lot of work. I work in, like I just mentioned, I've spent hours and hours posting 250 videos that I downloaded. I shouldn't have let it build up to 900 or 1,300 videos, but I just, I got to get in the mood. I got to get things swinging, and then but it's so cool going through all the videos that I had saved off of TikTok, because I saved some good stuff, and a lot of the stuff will only be posted for a little while before it's taken down. All right, next question. Oh, we don't have any questions. Cool. So, guys, again, feel free to ask any and all questions. Again, I have had a very lucky life where I've been able to study esoteric knowledge on all different sectors from nature, spirit, and commerce, while being able to maintain employment and pay for all the bills that were going on. I've been able to basically study full time, not the sheepskin from the indoctrinated public fool system that a lot of people think is magic. And the worst part of it is these students come out of college owing in massive amounts of debt from this tricked game system where every single year they change 2 words in the book, and you got to buy a new $400 book for each class. And then you get out of college and basically what's the word for what you pick in college? I don't remember, like a major. They get out with their major, and there's no jobs available. Or you get out with your major, and it's like the corporations want you to have a college degree and 10 years of experience. So it's like I've watched a lot of kids come out of college fully blown in 20, 30, 40, 50, $60,000 worth of debt, and couldn't even get a job in the industry field or goal that they were actually pushing for, and had to just end up switching and finding something else. And a lot of kids, what I had also learned is, I don't know if it's like everybody's getting softer. I don't know if it's because they're trying to suppress, masculine energy, or flip-flop it with female. I don't know what's going on, but it does seem like people are getting softer and softer and softer, and being women are very much emotionally based and based off of mood and feelings. And I actually talked about my ex about this, and it's not so much it's not really an issue if you look at it in this light. Okay, a lot of women will complain that they don't make a lot of money, or men make more money, but the actual truth is the bulk majority of women go off of how they feel on a job. They don't do it through logical base of what massive amounts of money they can make, because typically a woman gets taken care of by a man in the general sense. Okay, that's how it normally works. So a man, logically, he will think like, what are my best sets of skills? What am I able to provide to make my job, to make the most amount of money, to be able to provide for family or girl or whatever. When a woman's emotional based basically instincts and how she, her energy, it goes off of feelings. She finds a job that makes her feel good, that she enjoys, not one that she's like, oh, I got to have this job because I can make the most amount of money. I'm not saying there aren't women out there that do that, and I've seen women that will put off having children just because they want to advance in their careers or stuff like that. That's of course there's always individual different cases on case-by-case basis, but in a broad sense, the bulk majority of women are emotional based, and they go off of feelings, and men are more logically based and go off of logic. And if you find the right energy to be compatible with each other, it's basically you'll have all bases covered if you have the divine feminine and the divine masculine together to be able to work. Okay, I got 23 new messages, but are they messages? No, they're just people joining. Guys, again, feel free to ask any and all questions. Hope you're enjoying your Friday. It has been quite a wild ride. I've been having all kinds of fun. Again, I got a really cool video in the works. I was kind of hesitant to release it, but y'all are gonna have a kick out of it, because I'm actually playing three different roles in this one. And I almost thought about doing 4 or 5, but Anyway, this is going to be kind of a unique thing. Again, like I said, I'm learning how to do green screen on it. I'm slowly advancing more and more on this media content stuff. I know I could get much more likes and followers and clicks and all that stuff if I was just doing funny, mindless, simple stuff. And I actually have one of my friends. She keeps getting shadow banned and keeps getting booted off. So. What she's doing now is just posting brainless stuff, which is just hot girl things. Instead of posting esoteric, interesting, niche knowledge stuff that she keeps getting flagged for, keeps getting reported for, or whatever, she's posting massive amounts of hot girl stuff. Which how I understand it is, if you are continuing to get flagged on Facebook, eventually you'll get a handler where they will fine tooth comb any and all content that you put on. Like, I was so badly throttled that I posted a poem that I wrote when I was 18, and they flagged it as unoriginal and as exciting as a QR code, and so it wouldn't go to anybody's For You feed. And I'm sitting there, and the funny thing is I posted it just to see how bad I was shadow banned. And it just goes to show you right there, I was so shadow banned that they blocked a poem that I wrote, a spiritual poem. And I'm just like, yeah, I can't win, And then every once in a while I'll throw a curveball thing, or like I do something funny, or I'll do something weird just to see what it'll go to, because I used to go out to 100, 200, 300,000 people easy. Now it's just, skirt breaks. I'm lucky if my handler lets me go out to 4 grand, 5,000 views or whatever. But anyway, is what it is. I'm not about the numbers, but I am over analytical as a man, I end up crunching numbers and just looking at things. Thanks for all the likes, guys. Thanks for all the followers that come out there. Again, if you want to try to catch me, the easiest way I know of is join my Telegram group. I always post on there when I'm going live. And I will also be posting the audio of this live, and I will be posting the video of it on my YouTube. Claw, Charles, 3 first steps to liberate us from the government. So, and I've said this a few times, and this is a great way to view things, okay? I studied for over 7 years before I found out that I was always free, okay? Your U.S. citizen is a corporation that was created at your birth by your mother by submitting the application to register the corporation, okay? And what ended up happening is I went through all kinds of wrong rabbit trails, and that's kind of why I'm here trying to help y'all. I started this because somebody was trying to say you can just hop in your car and travel without a license, and that's not the truth. Well, I mean, you can, of course, but you're going to get hemmed up by the police, especially if you don't understand authority and how to interact with them, so or maintain control of contracts and blah, blah, blah. So I would say the first 3 steps is to understand you're sovereign. And then if you would decide to go further, you can do status and standing, which is basically putting down your status declaration on a piece of, you don't have to put it on a piece of paper, you can just say it in your heart, or you can mail it out to some of the large, basically corporations that are out there, like Washington, D.C., the IRS, Social Security, Vatican, London, Secretary of State, stuff like that. Just kind of letting them know this is my status. If your records reflect something else, let me know. And then you get standing. So status and standing is one of the things that I teach people about. But again, circling back, 7 years of studying, I tried to take the U.S. citizen out of control of the people that created it, and I didn't have the foundation of understanding that you can control what you create, and I didn't create it. It's just a tool that you can use, but you don't have to use it, okay? There's benefits and privileges to any relationship that you want to engage in. And if that is one of the relationships that you want to engage in, there's going to be underlying strings attached, okay? Same thing with using Federal Reserve notes. But, again, after 7 years of studying and doing a lot of wrong things, and I was being taught by mentors who thought that they were teaching the best that they could from the knowledge that they had at the time, but they were teaching somewhat old school stuff. After 7 years, I found out I was free the whole time. There's nobody, Claw, that told you what pair of panties to put on this morning, when to brush your teeth, what direction to go when your feet hit the floor, what time to call your mama or daddy, or none of that stuff. You are the ultimate authority and control of your life on a case-by-case, instant-by-instant, second-by-second basis. You are the ultimate divine queen. You get to control and dictate how everything flows through and from and out within you, okay? You are basically a fractal of the Creator. We have been taught and indoctrinated that we are basically subjects on a farm, and without even being known that that's basically what's happening. But that's how we're taught. Okay, but the truth is that you are a divine fractal of the Creator's light sources. Okay, and we're all together in one spiritual body of unity. And natural, we're all tied together in the natural light, the spiritual light, and the commercial light. Feminine devotion, hi beautiful. My Telegram group is Nature Spirit and Chat group, and it is linked on my website, which is linked on my profile page of TikTok. I think you got to click in my emblem, my little where I'm climbing up steps or whatever. And if you go to my profile page of TikTok, it'll show you my website has a little chain link there. And if you go on there, it has the auxiliary information for any 3 of the paths that you want to take. My website's kind of rough. I don't know. I kind of like it. It's kind of simply laid out. You know, depending on what path you want to take, nature, spirit, or commerce, you can just go there and it has auxiliary information. But if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see all of my social medias. All of them are the same, I think, except for kind of Telegram. I think that's the only one that's not Cha Rules. I think that's Ruach, Neshima or something. But anyway, all my social medias are linked on my website, which are on my profile page of TikTok. All right. Where are... Yeah, that part. Claw, you're very welcome. Like I said, feel free to ask anything. You can also DM me, and I give free consultations to anybody and everybody, as I can. I mean, I am kind of busy. I do have, I'm a property manager. I'm managing 25 houses, residential, commercial, and I got kids, and I got videos, and I got TikTok, and I got, all kinds of things. I got a networking event tomorrow that I'm going to for my family member helped these people out many years ago. My grandfather suggested that this guy get a barge or a crane. He told him, if you don't get a crane, you're not going to make it in this industry. And this company now they've got like 26 cranes, all these barges. They're doing all these big things. It's pretty cool. So even though I got fired from that industry for not getting the shot, there's he's still kind of part family and stuff. So, but anyway, yeah. I don't know exactly what is going on. Guys, again, this live will be on YouTube. The audio will be in my Telegram group. Feel free to reach out and ask any and all questions. I give consultations for free. You can DM me, email me, you can call me, you can post stuff on my videos. I've created playlists to help re-educate everybody. This time I set aside an hour to try to help anybody and everybody on a case-by-case basis. I spend a little bit of time, sometimes a little more than I should on each question, but that's kind of what this is. This is feminine devotion. I want to learn how to make my own free energy system. So that kind of technology has been around for a very long time. It just hasn't been released to us. There's a guy named Dr. Parkenstein who is basically, he's kind of like a Tesla guy, and he understands how to transmit free wireless energy from like all the way across the United States. He's actually already in his backyard. He's created a resonator, and he will show you how to get the right number of coils for a receiver to be able to receive free energy from him, because he's getting free energy from the ether, and that kind of knowledge has been suppressed by all the old school world buildings. So what happened during wars is the people that control the systems that are at play, including war and whatnot, is they purposely bombed all of the old school Tartarian technology building that had free atmospheric energy gathering technology. And then on top of that, they also did world fairs and they went around the world and basically destroyed all these old school buildings that had cymatic energy healing, that had free energy gathering and stuff like that. But if you look, you can still find some of the technology in some of the places, because it looks very apparent that there's been several resets. Maybe at least one worldwide flood. Of course, all the religions talk about that one, but it looks like there's been mud floods all over. Even Easter Island, if you look at those stone statues, everybody thought they were just heads, but the mud flood has been basically covering their entire bodies. And if you look, a lot of the old school Tartarian buildings were covered in mud all the way up to, they had doors that were down under the ground, they had windows that were built under the mud, and it's like we inherited all these buildings from a reset. A lot of weird things like big giant doors for, I believe there used to be giants that roamed around. I mean, there's doors out there that are, with handles that are 10.5 foot tall with the handle on it. And it's like, I would have to do some parkour to grab that thing. Actually, no, I think I used to be able to slam dunk a 10-foot rim. As I got a little older, I guess I just can't jump as high. So free energy, and there's another way that you can do it. There's a video I can send you if you DM me. They just did the world's first 0-point energy race, where they had 2 electric cars in, was it Paris or something? And they had them race around a track, and the 0-point energy came back with more power than when it started, and the one that was just running off battery died. And this has been documented, and they're starting to release this knowledge. Another thing that you can do is also use a little bit of solar for over unity, okay? A lot of people say it's impossible to create a over unity machine, okay? But they've made them, and there's simple ways to get over that little bit of unity, that over unity that you need, by simply using a solar panel or a solar cell. You can use that little tiny bit of volt or spark just to get over the little hump for an over unity machine to create. And I've actually designed myself a few different engines in different ways. I wanted to create one of the things was a buoyant, it's like a way to create energy through waves. And then another one was, I think it's called a Stirling engine. I wanted to scale up a Stirling engine to run a house. And I was like, you can't find a large Stirling engine anywhere. And those things move. When I started trying to create my own energy, I started off trying to make one from an escapement. Not a lot of people probably know what that is, but it's an internal mechanism inside of a watch. But I tried to scale up an escapement to try to create energy from the falling of something. And then I started doing other things. And then I was looking at a Stirling engine, and I'm like, dang, all you need is a little bit of fire. And I'm like, this would be great in an emergency. If power goes out, all you have to do is find something that burns. It could be wood, it could be bottles, or it could be alcohol, could be anything that burns. And you could run this generator that could run your house. Now, yes, you'd have to keep feeding the fire or it would slow down, but as long as you could find something to burn, you could have energy running your home, in an emergency. So there's all kinds of different ways to do it. A lot of this technology is suppressed. If you actually look on my website under nature energy, you'll see a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about. I have created all kinds of documentation for Tartarian technology, atmospheric stuff for different frequencies, cymatic, healing, body, like so much stuff. My website is a plethora of knowledge. Now, there are people out there that have much bigger libraries than me. My works are endless, and there's people that have been doing this for way many more years than I have, but it's just it's stuff that I've been involved in for the last 10 years that I just felt like putting out for y'all that y'all can browse around. All right, where are we at? Is there any questions? Nope. Guys, thanks for joining me on this Friday. Feel free to ask any and all questions. That's what this time is set aside for. Feminine Divine. How do you set up trust structure to be able to purchase and own real estate and still be a private man? So that's actually what the Rockefellers say is control everything, own nothing, right? So whenever you create a trust, you're creating a separate entity. For instance, the U.S. citizen is an individual trust. That's not you. All hail the Most High. What's up, Charles? How you doing? Nice to see you too. Welcome. Thanks for coming on. So a trust is a separate entity, and I have a video on trust to give you some basics, but I highly suggest reading Weiss's Concise Trustee Handbook. It's a very short read. I think it's like 70 pages long, but it'll give you some of the key knowledge of understanding how a trust is created. A trust can be created viva voce, which is basically just by me talking to you. For instance, I could say, would you like to meet up on Saturday night, Divine Feminine, or Feminine Divine? And you could say, yeah, I'll see you around 8. And so we've just kind of created a trust. Or I could hand you a pencil and say, I'll come back in an hour to get it. And if you accept it, we've created a trust. So through actions and words, you can create trust. Or you can have it written, you can have it expressed, you can have it implied, you can have it constructive, you can have all kinds of things. But Weiss's Concise Trustee Handbook is a very good read for basic understanding of that. I have that on my website. You can go on my website under Commerce Business Structures, and it's there on my website for free. Basically, yeah, if you do, you'll have a good understanding of that. It talks about trust certificates, whatever. Now, a trust can be, verbal, or it can be expressed or written, and it can be 1 page or it can be 16 million pages. It all depends on what you're trying to accomplish. If you want to create a land trust, you got to also remember anything that you put in a trust, if it is controlled by somebody else, it has underlying strings and attachments to it. For instance, if you put Federal Reserve notes in a trust, you didn't create the Federal Reserve notes, okay? Somebody could claim an interest on it, and depending on how it was acquired, if a U.S. citizen acquired it, if they didn't pay taxes on it and they try to put it into a trust, the IRS could come and try to claim it. Or the U.S. could try to claim it because it is a debt obligation of the United States. If you try to put a car in a trust, it is protected. However, if the state controls it because it was registered, then it has strings attached to it, underlying strings attached. Whatever you put inside of a trust, you just have to be understanding that if you don't control true title to it, then somebody else does. For instance, if you put a house in there and you don't pay taxes on it, they can come take it because it's their property. They control it. Controlling property is a whole another different ballgame. I have a video on that too. I have a video on true title. That's why I've made a bunch of these playlists try to help re-educate a lot of people, because we aren't taught any of this stuff from an early age. And I actually released a video that shows that the schools are actually designed to create corporate employees. Like, they don't want you thinking and outside of the box, or knowing that we're basically divine fractals of the Creator, that we have unlimited power and we can change our reality through the contracts in our mind, and basically putting out different vibrations and frequencies and stuff like that. Genesis 3:9, when God said to Adam, "Where are you?" Do you think that was a jurisdiction question? No, I think when the creators said "Where are you?" The creators were trying to act like they couldn't see Adam because he had sinned, right? And the creators already knew it was going to happen. It's just like with any child, when you put them in a room and you say "Don't touch that," that's the only thing they want. It just is what it is. It's our nature, right? And so my understanding is that the skins, Adam was actually a spirit, and that's why I was able to walk and talk with the creators on a one personal basis. And when the sin happened, the fall of Adam, we were given skins, which is flesh, this temporary animal vessel that is seeking pleasure continuously. So it was a rhetorical question, a jurisdiction. Now, that is, so there's a natural interpretation, there is a spiritual interpretation, and there's a commercial interpretation about all of those things, okay? And when reading the scriptures, it's hard to start to gather all the nouns have different meanings, okay? And what I did for a long time was I went through the Bible and I found out what all of the different verbs or nouns mean, okay? Because each noun has a natural, spiritual, and can have a commercial interpretation. For instance, like beasts of the field, like grass of the field, like trees. Trees can be people. All throughout the Bible, they're calling people different names, like wolves or foxes or oxes or all that stuff. So there is a commercial interpretation when Adam sinned. Basically, the commercial aspect of that is he was cast out and have to find his way back, and we all have to do that. Basically, I'm gonna keep going. All right, so basically, in the book of Hebrews, it gives the allegory of how in the desert, our bodies are the true divine temple. Okay, and that's what was shown to Moses. Is basically our body is the true temple, and we're supposed to basically self-sacrifice to find our way back to the garden, okay? And in the beginning it says that there's a spinning sword that spins in all directions to try to keep us from the garden, and that is basically what is these trials and fire that we go through all the time, is to try to become closer and closer with the Creator. And my understanding is this is a 7-day walk. Step 1 is to express unity with the creators. Okay, you have to acknowledge that there's a spiritual realm. There's a higher purpose and calling than all this. This natural temporary thing is just it's just simple. Step 1 is accepting and expressing the contract of unity with the creators, and you can receive a Holy Spirit, which is holy means separate from the world. Okay. So until then, basically, your spirit is tied. Now, I'm not saying that this is the only way to do this. I'm just saying this is what was revealed to me. Okay, until you express that contract of unity, your body is your spirit and your body are tied in a sense in your mind. Okay, once you express that contract of unity with the Creator, the veil is ripped, the temple is split, and you receive the Holy Spirit, which means separate from the earth, because you basically acknowledge that there's a higher calling and purpose in this temporary realm. Ain't it, right? And that's day one. That's step one, receiving the Holy Spirit. All right. Do we have any other questions? No, we don't have any other questions. But yeah, if it was a rhetorical, I swear somebody said it was a rhetorical question. Did I get my stuff mixed up? Oh, it was a rhetorical question. Okay. Amen. Yeah. P. Cruz, what is your opinion on the DOT process? Are you talking about the DTC process? Or are you talking about getting a Department of Transportation number for a vehicle that's unregistered? Which DOT process are you talking about? P. Cruz, do you mean DTC? Do you mean DOT, Department of Transportation, Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation? Which one are you talking about? Guys, this live will be on YouTube. The audio will be in my Telegram group. I have created playlists to help re-educate you. All of my playlists are linked on my website and on my profile page of TikTok. All my social medias are also linked on my website. Feel free to reach out. You can DM me, email me. You can also call me, and I respond and give free consultations all the time. So my opinion on the Department of Transportation is it's just a department of the U.S. corporation that basically tries to govern everything. And that's basically how, each department has its own little sector. Now, the Department of Transportation is a unique international type of jurisdiction venue that's actually run by, it used to be, I'm not sure if it's anymore, run by a Chinese girl, which I thought was interesting, as China, has been buying up a lot of land over here and whatnot. But and a bulk majority of the money of the U.S. is, who knows where that's supposed to be going, but it ain't going to run the government. I can tell you that much. Anyway, so the DOT, I don't know which Department of Transportation process you're talking about, unless you're talking about trying to get a number for a vehicle that is unregistered. If you're talking about that back when I did it, because I did it a bunch of years ago. Lauren Nicole joined. Thanks for joining the Telegram group. Back when I did it and talked to the DOT, they said that you need to. I told them exactly what I was doing. They're like, "What are you trying to do?" I was like, "I'm trying to get basically a hull number on my vessel to inform authorities, quote unquote authorities, that I'm a safe to travel person." And they said you need to put not for hire on your car. You need to have basically $250,000 bond insurance on it, and you have to have. You have to have triangles in your car in a flare or something, this, that, and the other. They went through the thing. And other than that, my DOT's active. I set everything up to travel without a license. I did. I did all that. And then I found out that I didn't even control true title to my vehicle. And I have it all set up, ready to go. And I had an opportunity a long time ago. I had $23,000 in my pocket, and I ended up getting my ex a nice car, but instead of using my brain, well, she didn't want it unregistered anyway. She wanted it registered. And then what's funny is, because she wanted it registered, eventually, full circle back, when I ended up giving her the car for $21, now she has to pay taxes on it every year, whereas she wouldn't have had to. But she also would have had to travel, understanding that she's not engaged in commerce, and she's, if she's ever approached by authority, you have to give notice to all the different jurisdictions that you're traveling through, basically letting them know, and you have to give notice. It just is what it is. But the DOT process, if you're talking about that, you basically want to be not engaged in interstate commerce, and I don't know if they've changed it or made it harder, because when I got mine, it was a long time ago. I'm talking, daggone, it's probably been 9 years since I got my DOT number, and I haven't really used it. And I get emails all the time still saying, "Hey, you got to register for this," or "Hey, you need to do this." And I'm like, "No, I don't. I'm not engaged in none of that stuff. I'm just putting my information on a repository that lets law enforcement and other authorities that are authorized to inspect during times of war to make sure and keep the public safe. They're authorized, it's their duty, it's their job. And a lot of these patriots, quote unquote, that think they're above the law and they want to be belligerent and they want to be combative and they don't want to allow our public servants to do their job, which is to inspect and ensure that you're not engaged in enemy activities. They want to make sure you're not harming people. They want to make sure you're not transporting 10,000 guns, all this stuff. So, if you are, that's another story. But, you're basically allowed to travel as long as you have all your ducks in a row. You have true controlling title over your car. You've basically put it in, I suggest putting in a security agreement or a trust, and then you've given basically proper notice. And then you understand how to interact and engage. You don't want to walk around with a whole bunch of Federal Reserve notes because that's giving up jurisdiction. You don't, you want to have gold on you or, lawful money of account, stuff like that. Pete Cruz, did you do it through a trust name or person name? I did mine through my trust. Oh, you talking about the DOT? Yeah, I created back then. I just made a name up. It wasn't even like I put non-applicable. So they put, what's the business name? Mine is non-applicable. That's my business name. It's non-applicable. So that I kind of wish I would have done it through a trust, but again, this was back when I was learning early. I was trying to do so much stuff, all over the crib. Yo, y'all are gonna laugh at this. When I was done with my bachata class, I had Nicorette, because every once in a while I want to smoke a cigar, and it's something I shouldn't do, but I chew Nicorette gum every once in a while, and I got out of class. And I was thirsty, and I just drank, and I just straight swallowed that gum. I straight swallowed a big old Nicorette gum, and I was just kind of like, dang, I was a little tired from dancing. Anyway, yeah, I kind of wish I would have gone through a trust, and I kind of wish I would have done a couple different things when I was setting up my DOT number. But again, like I said, I have everything all set up and established for me to travel outside of United States jurisdiction should I, decide to pull that trigger one day. And what I could have done, if I would have had some knowledge like I do now back then when I had the $23,000, is I could have got an unsecured loan. Because the car that we picked, I wanted a very safe car for my baby mama, okay? Because it had all these things to keep her in the line and make sure she could speed up. And it was funny, it's just like the first week that we got it, she's all looking and pressing buttons and stuff, and somebody slams on the brakes in front of her, and the car slams on the brakes to stop from her getting hit. And I was like, at first I was mad, but then I was like, I was glad. I'm glad that she had that technology that saved her from slamming into a car in front of her. But anyway, long story short is, back if I had this knowledge, even though she didn't want it registered, what I could have done, even though the car, I had $25,000 in my pocket, but the car was like 29 or 30 or something like that. We just got like a $6,000 loan. Is I could have just got a small unsecured loan and used all that money, got the MCO, and then just had to pay off a little bit of a higher interest note, which I paid that car off within a year. I paid it off like quick. So I kind of wish I would have done that, but also, she didn't want it, so it is what it is. But P. Cruz, I would like to have a phone conversation with you. Can we connect this weekend? Possibly. I have a networking event tomorrow, and then I have some friends coming over. So it's going to be kind of busy. Sunday might be free. You just have to reach out and check with me. You can DM me, and we can try to figure something else. Most people just try to call if I don't answer. Try back some other time. It is what it is. But yeah, I give free consultations all the time. Sometimes people catch me. A girl caught me the other day, and we were on a 3-hour conversation. She got, like I said, I don't charge nothing. I do the best I can to lead in give lawful guidance. I don't give legal advice. I give lawful guidance, and I do my best to guide everybody into the lights that the best I can. Guys, thanks for all the likes. We're coming up on 50 minutes. I usually stay on here for about an hour, so we got about 10 more minutes. If y'all want to ask any questions, feel free. I'm here for y'all. That's what I set this time aside for. Try to help. It's been a beautiful Friday night. I am at the bottom of my questions, so if y'all don't ask anything, I've talked my head off. I will wrap this sucker up if nobody has any questions. So again, this live will be on YouTube if you want to catch a recap of it. The audio will be in my Telegram group. I'll let everybody. I have exclusive content on all my social medias, which are linked on my website. I let if you want to know when I'm going live, you either have to subscribe to me or you have to join my Telegram group, because I let them know basically 95% of the time. And I've created playlists to help re-educate you. Please spend some time and go through that, guys. Like I'm telling you, it'll change your world. A lot of the questions that you have will be answered if you go through the playlist that I've taken the time to make. They are basically, oh, you still have my number from the last conversation? Okay. I talk to a lot of people. I help thousands of people. So and then they have a real name, they have a corporate name, they have a TikTok name, they got a Telegram name, they got and then some people they change them, and it's just it's hard to remember everything. But yeah, you can always just text me if you got my number, and we can go from there. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy your Friday night. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up since there's no more questions. I hope you enjoy your weekend and try to live your best life coming from love and light. Thanks for spending some time with me and being, here with me this night. P. Cruz, same name, same person, same private individual. That's me. That's good. All right, guys. Love you guys. Thanks for all the likes, shares, follows, and support. Feel free to reach out and DM me if you have any questions or need any guidance, and I'll do the best that I can to try to help you. All right, guys. I hope you enjoy your night. Have a great weekend. Much love.